In the pages, secrets unfold, sigils of power, stories untold. Through ancient light, the path is clear, changing your life.
All right, let's dive into something pretty fascinating today. Sigil magic. We're taking a deep dive into Adam Blackthorne's book, Sigils of Power and Transformation.
Definitely a unique perspective on this ancient practice.
Yeah, he really presents it in a different way.
Yeah, he claims it's a completely fresh take.
So before we get into the specifics of Blackthorne's approach,
Okay.
let's break it down to the basics. What exactly are sigils? How do they differ from other magical symbols or practices?
Well, you can think of a sigil as a visual representation of your deepest desires. Like a personalized symbol that you craft to focus your intentions on a specific goal. You charge it with your willpower, and it acts as this kind of conduit, a bridge between you and the desired outcome.
So it's not about calling on spirits or deities for assistance.
Not in Blackthorne's approach, no.
Right.
And that's one of the things that makes his perspective so intriguing. He strongly emphasizes the human origin of sigils,
Okay.
suggesting that even those ancient symbols we often associate with otherworldly beings were likely created by people. By humans.
Whoa, that's a real mind bender.
Yeah.
I always pictured sigils as having this mystical, supernatural origin story.
Yeah.
To think that they might be a product of human ingenuity all along.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It challenges our preconceptions, doesn't it? He really dives into this concept in the book, arguing that humans have always been the creators of their own magical tools. Kind of makes you rethink their entire origin story.
So let's talk about these specific sigils of creative light he presents in his book. What makes them stand out?
Well, there are 111 of these sigils, and they're all designed to tap into what he calls a pure creative force. He claims they draw upon this collective energy. It's built up from humanity's successful use of sigil magic throughout history. So imagine centuries of focused intentions all flowing into these symbols.
Okay, hold on a second. Connecting with the essence of successful humans through sigil use. That sounds almost like tapping into some kind of collective unconscious like Carl Jung talked about.
You're picking up on a really key element here. Blackthorne refers to the ancient spirit of humanity.
Which really hints at this idea of a collective energy, this reservoir of human experience that we can access through these specific sigils.
This is getting really deep, really fast. So how does it all actually work? What's the process someone would go through to use these sigils effectively?
So Blackthorne lays out a 4-step ritual process. And it starts with a visualization technique where you focus intently on your desire while looking through the sigil, not just at it.
Okay.
You know, picture a bright white light beyond the sigil and really feel that yearning for change.
So it's not passive observation, it's about actively engaging with the sigil and your desire.
Exactly. The next step is all about cementing your decision to make this change happen through magic. This time, you shift your focus to the outer rings of the sigil, solidifying your commitment. Then you move your attention to the actual lines of the sigil,
Okay.
vividly imagining the relief and gratitude you'd experience if your desire were already a reality. Feel it in every detail. It sounds like it's about creating a powerful emotional connection, almost like tricking your mind into believing the outcome has already happened.
You're getting it. There's a powerful psychological component at play here. And the final step involves softening your gaze and visualizing yourself years from now looking back at this current problem as a distant memory, something you easily overcame.
It's almost like rewriting your personal history, reframing the entire situation in your mind.
Precisely. You're planting a seed of success in your subconscious.
Wow.
Now, this is where things take an interesting turn. Blackthorne also delves into this concept he calls emergency magic.
Emergency magic. That sounds intense. What's that all about?
This is the section of the book where Blackthorne addresses using sigil magic in those crisis situations. So imagine you're in a moment of desperation. Your need for a solution is so strong, it could actually hinder the magic's effectiveness.
Yeah, I can see that happening. When you're super stressed or anxious, it's hard to let go and trust the process.
Absolutely. But here's where Blackthorne throws a curveball. He suggests consciously channeling those feelings of anger or frustration. Instead of viewing them as blocks, he sees them as fuel for activating the sigil.
Whoa. That seems completely counterintuitive. Wouldn't those intense negative emotions get in the way?
It's not what we're typically taught, is it? But Blackthorne believes that these raw emotions can be harnessed, almost like turning up the heat
Right.
to get the magic working faster. It's about using that raw energy to your advantage.
That's wild. But is it ethical? I mean, relying on anger and frustration to power magic sounds a bit, well, risky.
Yeah,
Maybe even unsustainable in the long run.
that's a really valid point, and one we'll definitely explore further as we delve into some specific sigils and their application.
Here again, we deal with new books about chaos magic. You can understand now that have many ways to practice chaos magic in your life. And by the way, everything could not be called chaos magic because chaos magic is all kind of magic. So be comfortable to tell me anything about these videos I make for you every time, okay? Here in
Chaos Magic Time.
Okay, let's dive into some examples then. What are some of these 111 sigils that stand out to you?
Well, some address very practical concerns like the sigil to end bad luck or make your enemy find peace. Those sound pretty relatable to most people at some point in their lives, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And some of them are downright intriguing, like reduce your appetite through the joy of eating or expand available time. Those two really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah. Those are great examples of how Blackthorne blends the practical with the seemingly impossible.
Right.
You know, the reduce your appetite sigil focuses on cultivating mindfulness around food. Imagine savoring each bite, finding genuine satisfaction in the experience instead of mindlessly consuming food.
It's like rewiring your entire relationship with food.
Yeah.
Shifting your mindset from quantity to quality.
Precisely. And expand available time taps into this idea that our perception of time is subjective. You know, by shifting our focus and prioritizing actions, we can potentially accomplish more within the same time frame.
It's like hacking the system.
Yeah.
Finding those hidden pockets of time we didn't even know existed.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so much to unpack here, especially when it comes to the ethical side of things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's take the sigil for uncovering someone's secret thoughts. That feels like walking a tightrope, doesn't it?
It definitely raises some serious questions about boundaries and respect.
Right. Is it ever okay to use magic to peer into someone's mind, even if you think you have good intentions?
Well, Blackthorne addresses this directly, actually. He argues that this sigil is only meant for situations where knowing the person's true thoughts is genuinely in both of your best interests.
So not for satisfying your own curiosity,
Right.
but for addressing a legitimate concern where honesty is crucial.
Exactly. Let's say you're worried a loved one is struggling, but they're not ready to open up.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about approaching the situation with compassion and understanding, not using it for manipulation or control.
Absolutely. It's about seeking truth for the benefit of all involved.
So much to consider here. These sigils cover a range of desires, from practical matters to deeper spiritual needs.
Yeah. And that's what makes Blackthorne's system so captivating. It touches on almost every aspect of the human experience, making you reconsider the possibilities that might exist within ourselves.
It all comes back to this core concept of intention, of focusing your will and energy to create change. It's about actively shaping your reality, not just passively accepting whatever comes your way.
Yes. And that's a power everyone possesses, regardless of their background or belief system. It's about tapping into our innate human potential.
This has been a mind-blowing discussion so far. We've only just scratched the surface of Blackthorne's system, and I'm already hooked. What else can we unearth in this magical world?
So picking up where we left off, let's explore some of these sigils that navigate the more ethically complex territory, the one for make your enemy find peace. That one's particularly intriguing.
It definitely sparked a lot of questions for me. Can you really use magic to pacify someone who might be actively working against you?
Right.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, Blackthorne's perspective on this isn't about manipulation or controlling your enemy. He emphasizes that the goal is to guide their energy towards peace
Okay.
and understanding. It's about shifting the dynamic, not forcing a change in their character.
So instead of plotting revenge or harboring ill will,
Right.
they experience a sudden shift
Yeah.
towards a more peaceful mindset. That's a pretty radical transformation.
That's the concept. Blackthorne suggests that the sigil works by instilling a sense of calm in your enemy, specifically when they think about you. Imagine their anger or resentment dissolving, replaced with a feeling of neutrality, even a sense of weakness, making them less likely to act aggressively.
It's almost like turning their own negativity against them,
Right.
using their own energy to fuel a transformation towards peace.
In a way, yes, it's about redirection rather than confrontation, breaking the cycle of negativity and creating space for a more harmonious resolution.
It definitely makes you think about the nature of free will. If you're using magic to influence someone's emotions, are they truly acting freely? That feels like a bit of a gray area, ethically speaking.
That's a valid concern. And it's where intention plays a crucial role. Blackthorne stresses that using this sigil with pure intentions is paramount.
Okay.
It's about seeking genuine peace and resolution, not about personal gain
Right.
or revenge.
So it's less about forcing a change and more about creating an environment where peace can organically emerge. It's about setting an intention, planting a seed, and allowing things to unfold naturally.
Exactly. It's about fostering a more harmonious situation for everyone involved, including yourself
Right.
and your enemy, creating this ripple effect of positivity.
Okay, that makes the approach feel a little less ethically ambiguous. Speaking of navigating relationships, there's another sigil that caught my attention. Ease people out of your life. That one feels incredibly relevant in today's world.
We all have those relationships that drain our energy. Those people who, despite our best efforts, we just can't seem to establish healthy boundaries with.
Of course.
Sometimes a clean break is so difficult, even when it's necessary for our well-being.
Absolutely. It can be so hard to navigate those situations without causing hurt feelings or unnecessary drama.
Yeah.
So is this sigil about making people disappear from your life?
Not in a literal sense, no. Blackthorne suggests it works more subtly, creating this natural separation, prompting the person to gradually drift away from your life without any dramatic confrontations or awkward goodbyes.
That sounds much less chaotic. But how does that even work? Does it manipulate circumstances? Or influence their decisions?
It's about aligning circumstances in a way that encourages a natural separation.
Okay.
Imagine it as creating opportunities for them to move on. Maybe they suddenly get a new job in a different city, or their interests shift, leading them down a different path that no longer intersects with yours.
So it's not about forcing them out, but about creating space for them to naturally move in a different direction. It's about letting go and allowing the universe to orchestrate the separation.
Exactly. It's about encouraging a gentle nudge rather than a forceful push. And again, intention is key here.
Okay.
Blackthorne emphasizes using this sigil only for those who are genuinely detrimental to your well-being, not for people who simply annoy you or have different opinions.
So it's about protecting your energy and setting healthy boundaries, not about using magic to control or manipulate those around you. That definitely feels more aligned with an ethical approach.
Precisely. It's about prioritizing self-care,
Okay.
creating a more positive environment for yourself to thrive.
Let's shift gears now and explore some of the sigils that focus on personal growth and transformation. Discover your true passion is one that really resonates with me. Who wouldn't want to uncover their true calling?
It's a powerful desire, isn't it? But Blackthorne cautions against expecting a sudden epiphany or a definitive answer. He suggests this sigil works more subtly, helping you become more receptive to possibilities and more attuned to your inner desires. It's about the journey of self-discovery.
So instead of receiving a clear directive from the universe,
Right.
it's about cultivating a deeper awareness of what truly makes you feel alive and fulfilled. Tuning into your authentic self.
Exactly. It's like awakening a part of yourself that you might have been ignoring or suppressing. You know, he actually shares a story in the book about someone who used this sigil and ended up discovering a passion for stand-up comedy, a path they never would have considered before.
That's a fantastic example of how this magic can lead to unexpected and transformative discoveries. It highlights that element of surprise and surrender in the process. It's about trusting the journey.
It's not about forcing a specific outcome, but about allowing your true self to emerge organically.
Now, Blackthorne keeps mentioning accessing this ancient spirit of humanity through these sigils. It's a concept that I find really intriguing, but also a bit mysterious. What exactly does he mean by that?
It's definitely a concept that delves into the more mystical side of things.
Right.
I think he's pointing towards this idea of a collective consciousness, a shared pool of wisdom and experience that we can all tap into, this reservoir of human potential that transcends individual limitations.
It's like we're all connected on a deeper level, sharing this vast network of knowledge and energy. And these sigils act as a bridge to that connection, allowing us to draw upon the collective energy of humanity's successes and triumphs.
Exactly. It's a powerful concept
Yeah.
that suggests we're not alone in our struggles and aspirations. And by tapping into this collective energy, we can empower ourselves to achieve greater things.
It's a beautiful idea. It makes you realize the potential that exists within each of us.
It does.
Speaking of empowerment, the sigil for increased willpower
Oh, yeah.
is one that I think we could all benefit from.
We all struggle with self-discipline at times, don't we?
Absolutely.
Whether it's resisting that extra piece of cake or finally finishing that project we've been putting off,
Yeah.
willpower can be a constant battle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So does this sigil magically eliminate cravings and distractions? Or does it work differently?
It's not about magically erasing those temptations,
Right.
but about strengthening your resolve,
Okay.
making it easier to stick to your goals and resist those urges that might derail you. It's like building mental muscle,
Yeah.
enhancing your ability to stay focused
Mhm.
and committed to your chosen path.
I love that analogy. It really highlights that active role we need to play in our own transformation. Magic might be a powerful tool, but it's not a quick fix.
Right.
It requires effort and
Yeah.
commitment on our part.
Precisely. It's about working with the magic,
Right.
not expecting it to do all the heavy lifting.
Right.
It's a collaboration,
Yeah.
a partnership between your will
Mm.
and the energy you're channeling.
So it's about aligning your actions with your intentions, creating a synergy between your desires and your efforts. That makes a lot of sense.
And that brings us to another important point that Blackthorne emphasizes, letting go of the outcome.
So not obsessing over whether or not the magic is working,
Yeah.
not clinging to a specific outcome or timeline.
Exactly. He refers to this as lust of result, and he warns that it can actually hinder the magic from manifesting. When we become too attached to a specific outcome, we create resistance, blocking the natural flow of energy.
So it's about trusting the process and surrendering to the unfolding of events. It's about releasing control and allowing the universe to orchestrate the details.
Precisely. It's about planting the seed of your desire and then nurturing it with patience and faith, allowing it to grow at its own pace, trusting that the universe will deliver the most beneficial outcome, even if it looks different than what we initially envisioned.
That's a powerful reminder to let go of our need to micromanage every aspect of our lives. Sometimes surrendering to the unknown can lead to the most incredible breakthroughs.
Absolutely. It's about faith and surrender, not about dictating the terms of our reality, embracing the mystery
Right.
and trusting the journey.
Okay, that's a concept I'm definitely going to be reflecting on. Now let's delve into a few more of these sigils, particularly those that deal with more practical matters. The one for money from out of the blue always seems to pique people's interest.
I can imagine. Who wouldn't want a sudden windfall of cash to magically appear?
Right. It's definitely a fantasy many of us have entertained at some point.
Right, but Blackthorne cautions against expecting a winning lottery ticket
Right.
to just materialize out of thin air. It's not about passive wishing, but about aligning yourself with the energy of abundance.
Okay.
He suggests that this sigil works more subtly, opening you up to unexpected opportunities for financial gain.
So instead of finding a suitcase full of money on your doorstep, you might receive a surprise tax refund or a gift from a relative, or discover a new way to generate income
Right.
that you hadn't considered before.
Exactly. It's about attracting money through serendipity, through unexpected avenues, not through force
Right.
or manipulation.
It's about being open to receiving abundance
Yeah.
in whatever form it takes.
Exactly. And this is where Blackthorne's emphasis on letting go of the outcome comes in again.
Right.
We can't dictate the specific form our abundance will take, but we can open ourselves to receiving it, trusting that the universe will provide what we need in the most perfect way.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. What about the sigil for make your money go further? That one feels especially relevant
Oh, yeah.
in today's economy.
Absolutely. With the rising cost of living, stretching our budgets can feel like a constant struggle. And Blackthorne suggests that this sigil can help us find creative ways to save money, get better deals, and make our resources last longer. It's about becoming more resourceful and mindful with our spending habits.
So it's not about magically multiplying your money, but about attracting bargains, making savvy financial decisions, and finding innovative solutions to financial challenges.
Exactly. It's about shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance, recognizing that even when faced with financial constraints, there are always opportunities for growth and expansion. It's about becoming more resourceful, more creative, and more empowered in our relationship with money.
It's like manifesting ingenuity and financial intelligence, recognizing the power we have to shape our financial reality.
Precisely. And it reminds us that magic can be applied to even the most practical aspects of our lives, helping us navigate challenges and create a more abundant experience.
Speaking of practical matters, the sigil for Make Noisy Neighbors Quiet is one that I know many people would appreciate.
Oh, definitely. We've all had those neighbors
yeah.
who blast their music at all hours,
For sure.
have endless noisy arguments, or seem to have a knack for creating chaos, and it can be a real challenge to maintain peace and quiet in our own homes.
It's the bane of apartment living.
Right.
So how does this sigil work? Does it magically silence them? Or is it more nuanced?
It's not about controlling their behavior directly,
Right.
but about shifting the energy of the situation.
Okay.
Or about encouraging a change in the dynamic.
So is it about influencing their behavior or about creating a shift in circumstances?
Well, Blackthorne suggests that it might prompt them to move away, finding a new living situation that better suits their lifestyle, or inspire them to be more considerate of their neighbors, perhaps motivating them to turn down their music, or find more peaceful ways to resolve conflicts.
So it's about nudging them towards a more harmonious way of living, whether through a change in location or a shift in their behavior.
Exactly. It highlights how magic can be used to improve our relationships with those around us, even those who might be challenging. It's about seeking peace and creating a more harmonious environment for everyone involved.
This has been an absolutely fascinating discussion. We've covered so much ground,
Yeah.
exploring a wide range of sigils and their applications, from the practical to the profound. But there's still so much more to uncover, isn't there?
We've only just scratched the surface of Blackthorne's system. There are dozens of other sigils, each with its own unique potential and ethical considerations. And we haven't even delved into the specific techniques he recommends for activating these sigils, like the use of emotional transmutation and perspective shifting. Those sound incredibly powerful.
They do. And they open up a whole new dimension of possibilities when it comes to working with sigil magic.
They do.
It's a fascinating blend of psychology and energy work. We'll definitely have to continue this conversation in the next part of our deep dive.
Definitely.
I'm already eager to learn more.
Yeah.
These techniques sound like they can be applied to so many aspects of our lives.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the power we have within ourselves to shape our reality and create the life we truly desire.
Next week, Saturday 15th, we'll start the new stage on this channel. Will be about Necronomicon Magick by Chaos practitioners. Maybe not all practitioners use the Necronomicon mythos for magic, but who practice enjoy a lot. This is very important because there's a lot of books about it. So we must study day by day and a lot to improve our magic. There's a lot to be studied about it. So I wait for you. Bye.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Adam Blackthorne's Sigils of Power and Transformation. We've talked about the theory, the techniques, and even the ethics. But I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We have, and now it's time to explore how to activate these sigils. Blackthorne talks a lot about emotional transmutation.
That sounds pretty intense. What is that exactly? Transforming negative emotions into positive ones.
It's more about harnessing the power of any emotion, to fuel the activation. Blackthorne sees emotions as energy, pure energy. And by shifting your emotional state during the ritual, you can make the magic more effective.
So it's not just about looking at the sigil.
No, it's about active engagement. Remember the 4-step ritual we talked about? That's where emotional transmutation comes in. Each step needs a specific emotional focus to build energy and intention as you go.
So you're charging the sigil with your emotional energy.
Exactly. And Blackthorne says different emotions can activate different sigils, depending on what you want. If you're working with a sigil to overcome fear, you might channel courage and determination.
matching the emotion to the outcome.
Right. And here's where it gets interesting. Blackthorne says even negative emotions like anger or frustration can be really powerful.
Wait, what? I thought those were blocks to magic.
Yeah, it seems strange, but Blackthorne argues that those raw emotions can be super effective for activating sigils, especially in emergencies when you need a fast solution.
Right, for those desperate moments when you need change now.
Exactly. Your desire for change is so strong that those negative emotions can actually amplify the magic.
So using that energy as fuel to kickstart the process. But isn't that kind of dangerous? Doesn't working with negative emotions risk making them stronger?
Well, Blackthorne warns about holding on to those negative emotions after the ritual. The key is to use them intentionally, like a boost, and then let them go. Don't let them stick around.
Like using fire to cook, a powerful tool you have to be careful with.
Right. Emotional transmutation is about mastering your emotions, not being controlled by them.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So we have emotional transmutation. What other techniques does he recommend?
Perspective shifting.
We talked about that earlier. Can you explain more about what it is and how it works with sigil magic?
Basically, you visualize the outcome you want as if it's already happened, like that last step in the ritual where you imagine yourself years in the future.
Right, rewriting history, changing how you see the situation.
Exactly. Blackthorne believes that by shifting your perspective, you're tricking your subconscious mind into thinking the change has already happened.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, aligning your thoughts with what you want.
Exactly. And by combining perspective shifting with emotional transmutation, you create a really powerful force.
Using the power of your mind to change your reality.
Right. It's not just wishing, it's actively working with your desires and beliefs and emotions to make a change.
This has been an awesome deep dive. We've explored so much, but I still feel like there's more.
There is. Blackthorne's book is full of insights for anyone wanting to learn about this practice.
And he encourages people to experiment, to find what works for them.
Right. It's about approaching magic with curiosity and wonder, being willing to explore.
So to our listeners, what changes do you desire? What seeds will you plant today?
Embrace intention, harness your emotions, and imagine a reality beyond your dreams.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Erasing your fear, a magic of will, of decision made, transformations call in every shade, sigils of power, a fire so bright, crafted in shadows, igniting the light, from desire to will, they carry your soul.